The importance of deadlines and deliverables coming up. Hey guys, it's Vroman. For those of you who are new to this channel, I offer tips, tricks, and industry advice for new or would-be game developers. So if this is something that interests you, consider subscribing. So today I want to talk about the importance of deadlines and deliverables. Deadlines are one of the things in the industry that are what can be one of the most frustrating aspects of the game development to deal with, especially if you have investors on your project or you're working at a game studio and they have a hard release date and you need to get things done by that time and it's super tight. So the group that I want to speak to in this video are the independent developers who are maybe just doing this as a hobby or maybe trying to start their own business in making games and don't really set deadlines or deliverables for themselves just because maybe they're doing everything on their own and they don't think that they have to. And that mindset is wrong. And the reason that is because when you set a deadline for something, it makes that thing real. It makes you accountable for delivering that thing on time. Deliverables go hand in hand with deadlines. So a deliverable is something that you basically wind up shipping. And it may be a playable demo, or it may be a tech demo of some kind, or maybe even just a video of your progress. One of the most powerful tools that you can use as a developer is reporting your progress publicly and keeping yourself accountable by promising deliverables by a certain date. By setting these kinds of deadlines for deliverables, you automatically set your mind to, hey, I've got to get these things done before this time because people are expecting this from me. And that will always make you more productive in a smaller amount of time than if you're just working on it, whenever you come home from work in your free time and you're not really worried about when you release something. However, one concept that I think gets left out of these discussions a lot is the concept of padding. Now, when you're coming up with these deadlines that need to be set, or you're giving an estimate of how long it's going to take something, you always want to pad that estimate. Now, it depends on what it is that you're doing and how complex the task is. There's no real set number for this. I tend to pad my estimates on things by about 20%. The reason I do that is not to give myself time to sort of slack off, but it's to account for the unforeseen circumstances that you're going to hit. You're going to run into a snag that you didn't count on. You're going to have an error in your code that is going to take you an hour that you weren't counting on to fix, or maybe a couple of hours, or maybe your game is not displaying something on the screen and you think it should be. You have to continuously review it, and it takes you 3 hours to figure out why that thing wasn't displaying, and then you're like, oh, I could have resolved that in 30 seconds. But the fact is, it still took you 3 hours. So my point is, whenever you're setting these deadlines for your deliverables, make sure that they're realistic, but also make sure that they're padded somewhat. I do at least 20%. If it's a super complicated task, I'll pad it sometimes up to 50% more of the time than I think it's actually going to take. And the more that you estimate these things, the better you'll get at it. So again, it's one of those practice makes better type of scenarios, but it's important to pad it because you want to allow yourself that wiggle room when you're setting your deadline. And then of course, the most important thing is actually meet the deadline. Make sure that you deliver your deliverable on time on the deadline. I mean, if it's possible, maybe even deliver it a little bit early, although I caution against that a little bit sometimes too, because sometimes even if you're done with something 2-3 days in advance, maybe it helps to walk away from it for a day and then come back to it and look at it and go, oh, I missed something, I need to go and fix that. So I do caution against delivering something early. The other thing you don't want to do is constantly overestimate and deliver early every single time, because then people are going to say, oh, he's saying it's going to take 6 months, but it'll really take him 3, and then that's their expectation going forward. So you have to be careful with some of these things and adjust them as you learn to be more accurate going forward. So yeah, that's really all I've got on this topic. If this was useful to you, please hit the like button, and please also leave me some feedback in the comments below. I'd love to hear from some of you guys on how useful this content is to you, and it helps me know whether or not I'm going the right direction with my videos. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you're new to this channel, consider subscribing, and I will see you guys tomorrow.